Good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday, October 16th, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. So the SPY Bulls in absolute full control today. We got the bull break early on. It was not convincing, but really on the 5-minute time frame, with the spike in volume and the new high of the day, that's when the bulls really took off, and they did not lose the 5-minute uptrend until just 15-20 minutes ago after that final push, or I should say that initial real push that had us believing, all right, the bulls are getting follow through now, because that first initial break and the consolidation that followed it was certainly not convincing, and there was no volume behind it. So the hourly time frame is certainly very extended on SPY. There is no doubt about that. The RSI is up at 72. Keeping in mind, we haven't even started any consolidation. So when we do consolidate, it will be healthy on the hourly time frame. So at this point, the hourly higher low, again, this lower wick pre-market wasn't really there. So we're looking at the last hourly higher low at 273.75, and that is currently over 2% to go. So we do need an hourly higher low. The question is, do we see a higher open and a gap up tomorrow as we are closing fairly strong, or do we see a lower open and the start of that healthy consolidation? There's no resistance in this level. This is when we were dumping back last week significantly, and 283.80 is the next clear resistance level. So you can see we have a lot of space to the upside, which is why the bulls are getting extended on the hourly time frame without needing consolidation just yet. So I'm watching the hourly chart, knowing that we are due to consolidate, but also noting that it has not even started at this point. And SPY on the daily chart, we know we're looking for a daily lower high to form. The daily lower high will be indicated by most likely an hourly uptrend being lost. So the first initial pullback that we're going to get, if we look at it just on the daily time frame, it might look like a big upper wick. It might look like a bearish candlestick starting out tomorrow. But we have to keep in mind that healthy hourly consolidation is still going to maintain the hourly uptrend, and we won't be convinced of the loss of that hourly uptrend until we establish a low of initial consolidation, a lower high, and then continuation of the pullback to a lower low. So it's entirely possible that this bull move is not done just yet. And personally, I would not be fighting this trend right now. Certainly would not be fighting the bull trend. I would need to see further weakness, and at this point in the day with 40 minutes left to go, I would probably be waiting tomorrow to look for that weakness. And let's just look back right now at SPY and how the bounce played through on February's dump. And we ended up having a bounce, a lower high was set, then we dropped to a lower low, and then the real bounce started. So this one's different inside bars and the bounce, but still going to look for that lower high to form. So the dollar on the daily chart did break its support, but it did also find support down at 94.79. So the 4-hour time frame is a clear downtrend. Bulls are going to have to break the 4-hour downtrend for any kind of follow through on a bounce. And as long as that does not happen, the bull miners are keeping some control. That being said, gold did reject with a double top, and that's notable. So gold was unable to break the high of yesterday, even though the dollar dumped well below the low of yesterday. So a bit of a difference there, and we're seeing a significant pullback from the high of the day on these miners. But if we look at the daily time frame, it's healthy daily consolidation. There's JNUG, this is NUGT. So we're going to look for daily higher lows to form on these miners. We just have to watch for an hourly trend change to indicate that the daily higher low has been established. Oil on the daily, still a weak bounce. Looking for a break of this daily inside bar tomorrow to give us some indication, and that inventory report tomorrow is going to be what we're looking for in order for a signal. And natural gas, bulls recovering. Let's see, actually, that's only the 5-minute. So we still have the head and shoulders pattern here as a potential, and if we see a break of 321, the odds of the bearish reversal head and shoulders will increase a bit, and it will be confirmed with a break of 313.8. So still watching that natural gas pattern, and it's going to be a big factor with its inventory report on Thursday as well as to whether or not we drop through and break that support level or not. Cryptocurrency. So just a daily inside bar for Bitcoin, still patiently waiting. We did get a bear break on the hourly. Took out some stop losses. A little bit of a bounce attempt. Not much going on is the bottom line. Price hasn't moved a whole lot over the last day, and we'll watch for a daily inside bar break. I did do a crypto video just an hour or so ago, maybe 2 hours ago. So that's already posted for the day. Let's get into setups. SQ and Facebook, nice volatility in SQ today. Bulls certainly coming out on top. So same thing, we are looking for lower highs on all of these names because SQ's lower high is over 100. So we haven't set a daily lower high on this entire dump, and we will look to top out and set that daily lower high once the hourly uptrend is lost. So SQ on the hourly trend, higher low has not been established since the low of the day. So 73.86 is our hourly higher low. And again, when we do begin to consolidate, just like SPY, we will look for an hourly higher low to form, and it will have to require a loss of that uptrend to indicate that our daily top has been hit. Resistance is 80.20 from here, 79 psychological, 80 psychological, and then 80.20. So Facebook hourly, again, same thing. We don't have a support level, so next time we consolidate, we will still look for an hourly higher low to form, and we'll watch for clues. What does the bear volume look like on the consolidation? How much pullback from the top of the move are we seeing? Is it an hourly bull flag? Is it a high volume, significant pullback that's having us look for an hourly equilibrium? Those are all little details we'll be watching for. But as far as Facebook goes on the daily time frame, we're looking at resistance right now. Anything under 160.59 is a lower high. So that's the resistance level. This bounce is still following through. We had the daily inside bar bull break first thing, but this bounce is still coming off of the low. So we're not changing any trends. And if we reject from 160.59, it's just a lower high on the daily time frame. And again, same thing. The hourly chart is extended, and healthy consolidation is likely the initial pullback. FFIV, trying to see a bull move. We had multiple inside bars looking just like SPY. We got the bull break, but a lack of follow through. So this is similar to what SPY looked like it might do initially to start the day. Obviously, we got a lot more follow through on that bull break eventually, but this is a very weak bounce that has us looking at the potential of a bear flag on the daily. So if we lose support levels on these shorter term timeframes like the hourly, a break of 166.97 would increase the odds of a daily bear flag significantly. And for the bulls, we're looking at resistance of 170.05 and 172 as the bulls try and keep these higher lows and higher highs, but it certainly looks like a bear flag at this point. Have to be cautious of that. BIDU. Daily inside bar today, so we'll look for a break of this tomorrow. 199.71 support, 203.40 is resistance. Although we're right up at that high, so we might see a new high of the day. 203.69 is the high of yesterday. So essentially, we're looking at, let's look at it on the hourly. Key support short term is 201.89. Break at that level will favor the bears for the inside bar. And key resistance, 203.40 and 203.69. So bulls with momentum here, but well aware that if SPY begins to consolidate on the hourly, names like Baidu that did not see significant follow through today are not really positioned well to absorb any market weakness. You can see Baba much, much stronger than Baidu. It was a very similar setup before today, but a very different setup in after today's action, with Baba clearly significant follow through that Baidu is not seeing. SPXS. So again, we need to see an hourly trend change. We will look for a daily higher low, absolutely, but we need to see a shift. And we're going to bounce on the hourly and just set a lower high unless the bulls can break 25.20. But if we can't, we'll just bounce and look for the lower high to be set. And in order to change the trend, we will need the higher low and then the higher high to indicate that the daily chart is going to be going for continuation. So as of right now, we don't have enough weakness in this market for us to be looking confidently at any bearish plays, because we are closing with some momentum for the bulls. Well, actually, it's really the first profit taking that we've seen today, but we're still closing very close to that all-time high. If we see a bear move here at the end of the day on SPY and a break of 279.26, that will significantly shift some momentum into tomorrow, and that will obviously be an indication that profit taking has begun. But if that level holds that we just pulled back to, the bulls are going to close very strong here. TQQQ. So same thing, loss of the hourly, higher low pattern is going to indicate that our daily lower high has been set. Hourly chart has not even consolidated, pretty much a mirror image of SPY at this point. And we're going to be watching for healthy hourly consolidation on the initial pullback, and then we'll watch for the potential change in a trend. Resistance 60.45 and 60.60 are the first two levels that stand out. YY. Canadian MJ looks like CGC, seeing further weakness here at the end of the day, some profit taking. So for YY, the bulls bought the dip after a bear break today. Support was 66.77. It only broke by 7 pennies. Bulls have to break 73.23. Anything under that level is just a lower high, still a long ways away from that resistance point. And the hourly time frame, first resistance to break is 69.21 and then 69.94. 2 clear resistances, and it's just a weak bounce attempt at this point. The bulls have not really proven anything just yet. Worth watching because when this pattern does break, it actually looks a bit like a descending wedge. Let's see what the weekly's doing. Have to hold that support level. 66.46, 66.70. So weekly trend change would need a break of 77.10. So even more required for a weekly trend change. So the bottom line is the bears are still in control on almost all time frames. And if we change the daily trend, it's worth watching because that weekly trend is trying to hold a double bottom. Netflix could absolutely influence the market, and the reason for that is because Netflix is the first tech name with earnings. And so we could see the potential that, you know, other names position themselves based on whether Netflix is a beat or a miss and how the market responds to it. So usually the first name in the sector is a bit of a temperature gauge for the rest of the sector as far as earnings go. So as far as that goes, yes, Netflix will have a significant impact on the tech sector and the market tomorrow as everybody else reacts to it. XLF. And Dinzy, if you're out there and want to answer Seaway's question, I don't have time to type it right now. XLF on the daily time frame, inside bar bull break. Double bottom at 26.31. So bull break was 26.63. We've got the bounce just starting to follow through, but it's much weaker than the tech sector bounce, obviously. So we look at it on the hourly time frame, not convincing at all. It is still a potential bear flag on the daily, and it will be a red flag if we see a break of 26.53, because that will lose the hourly uptrend. So 26.53 is a key support level, and if I were a market bull right now, my biggest concern would be the lack of financial sector strength. Because if this is just a bear flag and we head back down to the lows, even if the tech sector holds on pretty well, you know, SPY's not going to go very far on its bounce. Tech sector needs the financial sector to go with it in order for the market to see a lot of strength. So we saw that today, but again, hourly chart overall, not a very impressive move. Need follow through for the market bulls to have a bit of relief. JPM, same thing. We aren't even breaking the lower high pattern. Lower highs on the daily chart now, 8 days in a row. Double top, 108.85, 108.75. Hourly chart, absolutely a potential bear flag. And we'll look to form a higher low on the hourly compared to 106.32. But these financial sector names are not, like I said, just everything I just said applies to JPM. Not giving confidence in this move just yet. And look at the volume. JPM's most significant hourly volume in the last 4 or 5 hours is a bearish candlestick. Let's see if XLF is the same. And it is. A little bit of that was bull volume, but not much. ACB uplist is priced in my opinion. It's a known news event. It's known that it's coming in the near-term future. I would be very surprised if that had a significant bullish reaction. So Tesla, I liked the setup today. If the market bulls broke bullish to go along with it, and they certainly did, and the target was 277.67, not necessarily today, but the bulls got real close today. So we broke all those resistances in the 262, 265 range. We saw solid follow through, and the hourly higher low for Tesla, we are due for consolidation. So definitely cautious as a bull. We are overextended on the hourly time frame. We have not consolidated, and we are going to look to set a daily lower high. The last daily lower high was up at 316. So anything under 316 is a daily lower high. And just looking at this hourly chart, that tells me I'm going to be watching Tesla for a bearish play tomorrow. Obviously, pre-market, things are going to shift around how we set up. But if we're this extended, I'll be watching for changes in the shorter-term trends to give me an indication to enter Tesla bearish. So I'm going to be watching what the setup looks like pre-market tomorrow. But if you're still in a bullish position, I mean, we're closing pretty strong here. We're less than $1 from the high of the day. But we are still seeing some SPY profit taking. Again, that key level for SPY is 279.26 that the bulls really want to hold here at the end of the day. CMG, bullish reversal candlestick. Bulls have to break 444.64 for it to mean anything on the daily. That's our last little bounce attempt, topped out, dumped down to a lower low, exponential resistance, consistent. So a lot of work to do to change any trend on the daily. Look at the hourly chart. So here's our resistance, 436.65. That's a shorter term resistance, and anything under that level is just an hourly lower high. Let's see if we can form a higher low and then a trend change. This is a head and shoulders, an inverse head and shoulders setup with the left shoulder, the head, and if we pull back here and form a right shoulder, then potentially look for the bull break. Let's see if we get that set up tomorrow if we do consolidate a bit with the inability to break 436.65 resistance. That's the level to be watching tomorrow. So ECB.TO, big profit taking day today in the sector. Gap up open. Lower highs and lower lows continuing. And significant that we just broke down below 1390. So only support is 1390 and 1365. If 1365 breaks, we look to 1324. Resistance is now 1454 and 1496. So the hourly time frame gives us a lot of levels to be watching. And the question is, do we see further profit taking tomorrow or not? And the answer right now, we're certainly seeing profit taking into the end of the day. The bounce is fading. We can see the top of the bounce, significant pullback, lower high, and then just drop down to that lower low. META.V. All bears, just a very clear downtrend, lower highs and lower lows consistently. We do have a double bottom at 85, triple bottom. So it's a descending triangle. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. So it's essentially when you have the horizontal base of support and a descending lower high pattern. And I'm just going to use wicks here. This is not a good downtrend line. I would be using price levels rather than downtrend lines. That's pretty much where I'd put it. And the key resistance is 93 and 95. So have to break the hourly lower highs to break bullish from this pattern. Otherwise, the bears keep complete control of this daily chart. It's worth watching because when that break does occur, I wouldn't be surprised to see us right back up at $1 very quickly. But we have to break the lower highs first. CWBHF. CWBHF looks like we have a big upper wick of profit taking today. Was that all today? And it was the first candlestick, so just illiquidity when a big volume surge comes in and there's not a lot of preparation by market makers and there's not a lot of orders. That's when you see that happen. As far as I'm concerned, it's 1494 and 1438 as the key levels, and support is 1343. Very choppy, very illiquid. Charts like this are not good for technical analysis. Have to have solid volume and liquidity for levels to be respected, and we are certainly not seeing that here on this chart. So 1344 and 1410, I guess we would say, is our tightest range to be watching. CGC support is down at 52.61 with a sell-off at the end of the day. 25 minutes to go. MJ sector, bull break did not get much follow through. We are seeing profit taking at the end of the day. NIO. Daily inside bar, so a tightening range. We have resistance of 835 and 830, and now an inside bar. A break of 783 tomorrow is bearish, which would give us an equilibrium with our high, low, lower high, and then we'll look for a higher low if we break 783. A bull break is 820 to have us looking up at 830. So a tight pattern on the hourly. And we did break resistance of 811, but it is still a daily inside bar because we couldn't break the high of yesterday. So the range of today will be important to be watching tomorrow. And it's either going to give us a little cup and handle psychology pattern with a bull break of the inside bar or an equilibrium with a bear break. Four-hour for NINO. So high, low, lower high, sideways trading, still a lower high. And it's about the low of today, tomorrow, and whether or not that support level can hold. MMNFF. So we couldn't break the all-time high, and now we're consolidating. This too is a daily inside bar. 629 is key support. 712 and 715 are key resistances. And it's just an equilibrium at this point. High, low. The lower high is at 712. And now we're looking for a higher low compared to 622. But clear profit taking across the sector right now with the last hour of trading, essentially. TLRY, let's see if we're seeing the same profit taking, and we are. So the high of the bounce was not broken, 162.90. We got up to 162.40, unable to break it, and now pulling back. Support is 154.50 and then 151.26. So if we look at it on a 15-minute time frame, equilibrium got a bull break, but the high of the bounce didn't break. When you get an equilibrium like this, breaking the levels, either the higher lows or the lower highs, is the signal. But to ensure follow-through, you have to break the other level as well and get, we broke 161.50, but we couldn't break 162.90. So if we can't get that kind of follow-through, it's definitely a red flag. We want to break all levels of that equilibrium and see a significant move for it to be a successful break. So we broke one level, couldn't break the high of the bounce, and now the profit taking in the sector is catching up with TLRY as well. 154.50 is a key support from here. CRM. Potential equilibrium on the 4-hour. We have the low of the dump, high of the bounce, higher low, and if we cannot break 148.75 tomorrow, we watch for the potential of a lower high. And then we'll look for a tightening 4-hour equilibrium. If we get a bull break of 148.75, it's 150.87 as the next level, and it's different than many other names that are bouncing because it's not an extended move. We did consolidate, establish a higher low, and now the bulls are trying to break the top of the bounce at this point and see continuation, but still one key level to go for tomorrow. RNX. So RNX got a bull break of 81. 98 is key resistance. If we lose the hourly uptrend before breaking 98, it's a lower high being set on the daily. Healthy hourly consolidation at this point, trying for a bull flag. Support is 88. If that breaks, we'll look for an hourly higher low to form. So bull's still in control, but if we see an hourly lower high and lower low, that's when we'll say, all right, our daily lower high has been set. It's time for a daily higher low. The last one was 68. And we're a ways away or ways above that level. So 91 and 98 key resistances. Bull's still healthy with an attempt at a bull flag, and it looks like tomorrow morning is going to tell us if that gets continuation or if we're unable to break the high of today and we get further pullback. So JNUG set a lower high and a lower low on the hourly, but we look at the daily chart and it is certainly healthy consolidation at this point. So we're looking for a daily higher low. Anything above 702 will do it. And we're going to look for the hourly trend to change back in favor of the bulls to give us an indication that the daily higher low has been established. So anything under 969 is an hourly lower high, but changing that hourly trend is going to be the signal that daily consolidation is likely done for now. So no red flags at this point. And support is going to be 895 and then down to 832 after that. Apple's closing strong, trying to see this little higher low and then bull break. Have to get over 222.88, the high of this bounce, for any kind of follow through. That's a key resistance level tomorrow. Next level will be up at 227.27. And Apple is probably one of the least significant pullbacks out of the major names that we've seen. You know, you look at that daily chart and you say, well, that's no real big deal. It doesn't even look like much of a dump there. So a solid recovery, closing up at the high of the day. SPY just hit a new high of the day, so the bull's still in full control here. And a key resistance test first thing tomorrow, 222.88. And same thing, if we lose the hourly uptrend, well, it's actually not the same thing because of what everybody is positioned differently than Apple currently is on its daily chart. But when we consolidate, we will look for healthy hourly consolidation and a higher low to form because the last one was 216.76. IWM, significant move. Anything under 162.74 is a lower high on the daily. Hourly needs to consolidate and form a higher low. Same thing that we've been saying for SPY and all these other individual names. We are overextended on the hourly. There's a lack of resistance due to the all-out dump that we saw. We know we're due for hourly healthy consolidation, and the consolidation that we see initially will very likely establish a higher low. SPY Bull's kicking it up a notch here at the end of the day. And IWM with a new high as well. So I'm going to grab an initial little position here in CGC on this pullback. I'm going to watch to see how the rest of the trading goes. But I do foresee the potential of a little bit of a higher open tomorrow just because it is the first day of sales and there will be a little bit of hype, and the majority of the sell the news reaction was gotten out of the way today. So I don't know even know if I'll swing it here. I'm just grabbing an initial position. If we drop down and break the current low of 52.85, I will likely exit. But I do like this setup with all that profit taking the last hour and a half to at least make an attempt here at the end of the day. COUP. So significant bull move, breaking the high of the bounce. Next resistance after 68.20, we're looking up at 68.76. And same thing with the hourly charts. Consolidating right now, potential for a bull flag. And we'll be watching for either continuation tomorrow, confirming the bull flag, or further pullback and a higher low to form. And just like that, CGC is exploding a bit to the upside real quick. I wonder if that's members doing some buying as well. So COUP has started hourly consolidation. And lots of other individual names have not, so it is a little bit different in that regard. But that is very healthy hourly consolidation at this point. HUYA. So we did break the high of yesterday, 22.70. That's a good start. Now that bulls need to look up to 23.79. So 23.79 is the next key resistance to try and see the higher low and higher high on this bounce, get continuation. Same thing, the hourly chart is overextended. The last higher low is down at 21.88. So the bulls need an hourly, actually it's here at 22.04. So the bulls will need an hourly higher low, and the initial consolidation we see will likely be healthy, but we are closing strong up at the high of the day. And it's all about 23.79 tomorrow. HD, daily inside bars, breaking bull. Next resistance is up at 196.67, but this bounce is much weaker than many individual names that we're looking at. Hourly chart not nearly as extended. Support is 192.86. And it's a weak bounce attempt at this point compared to everybody else that we're watching. It is a potential bear flag still on the daily. And anything under 199.24 is a lower high on the daily chart. Amazon. So Amazon strong. It was a bit of a laggard today, but certainly bulls picked it up a notch. Lack of resistance until 1858. Let's see how extended the hourly chart is. Not as extended as other names. We did pull back here and establish an 1801 support with a little brief pullback. So bulls still in full control. Lack of resistance. 1821 actually stands out. If we get over 1821, there's a lack of resistance nearby. So that's the next target for the bulls. And solid day for the tech sector today. Amazon among them. POTN, tons of profit taking, and the fact that we're down at the low of the day tells us we're not confident that profit taking is done for now. The bulls are attempting to build a base at 261. Need to see a break of 28 to give confidence that 261 is our current support bottom. Nice follow through on the CGC bounce, still going. BIIB hourly support is down at 333.34. And I'm locking in my CGC profit here because I'd rather be all cash overnight. So BIIB, multiple inside bars with the bull break. Next resistance is 340.85, and that hourly support, we're not as extended as other names because we did have an hourly bull flag midday today, and that's down at 333.34. So another name closing strong with SPY Bulls surging ahead here. PayPal also up at the high of the day. Next resistance is 81.84. Hourly higher low is 79.85. Also saw more consolidation than lots of other individual names. So I could see CGC's momentum shift just by watching the bid and the ask. And now we're looking right back down to the low of consolidation of 52.85. Bounce did not last very long. So Cron on the hourly, we're looking at support. We are still holding some supports here. Let's look at the 15. 1131 is holding with a double bottom. And key resistance is 1204 and 1224. So less profit taking on Cron than other individual names. So that's worth noting. And a bit of an equilibrium as far as the hourly is concerned with our high, low the pullback, lower high, higher low, lower high, and double bottom. So some nice clear levels on Cron as we head into tomorrow. So SPY is on absolute fire here, but again, we are very extended now on this hourly chart. Big time bull move at the end of the day. So 10 minutes to go into the close here. Checking in on Netflix. Netflix is exploding. Almost makes me want to short it here at the end of the day. So I just shorted Netflix, and I'll exit if we break 347 for a new high of the day. And out for very small gains. Didn't get much follow through on that bear break, and I'm not going to mess around here with just a couple minutes left to go. Thanks for the Netflix earnings reminder. LABU. So we just have very brief consolidation before continuation. The biotech sector is up 5.5%. I will absolutely be watching LABD tomorrow, but we're closing with bulls in full control of LABU. The next resistance is up. I mean, we might as well look at XBI resistances because LABU resistances don't matter. 90.38 is resistance on XBI. And again, these bulls are extremely extended on this hourly chart. So LABD is going to be a top watch into tomorrow, just due to how overextended we are. Netflix is reporting after hours. This week is starting the full swing into earnings season. BAC started the financial sector yesterday. Netflix is starting the tech sector today. ENDP is a nice breakout, but lots and lots of resistances. $18.63 stands out as the next level. So SPY is all bull. We're extended as we head into tomorrow. I would love to see a gap up open in these names, to have them overextended and to have us be able to look for hourly consolidation for a play. So significant follow through on the daily inside bar bull break. And now we patiently wait for SPY to give us an indication that our daily lower high has been set. Swinging SPXS overnight is just gambling, in my opinion. There's absolutely zero indication at this point of any sign of weakness, so that's just you hoping that weakness occurs overnight, which is never a good scenario to be in. So other names that we'll be looking at that are overextended, let's see the SQ's hourly chart. So SQ is extended, AMD we know is extended. So I'm going to write these down right now, but those are just 3 names off the top of my head where if we start with strength tomorrow morning, I am going to be looking for bearish entries for hourly consolidation. So SQ next resistance is 80.20. And actually, we did establish a little support here at 77.45. So 77.45 is key support. It actually looks like 15-minute trends will be worth watching tomorrow because a lot of these names did establish 15-minute support levels before the end of the day here. So I'll be watching the hourly and the 15-minute tomorrow. So Canadian MJ, not much going on here at the end of the day. Looks like we're closing fairly close towards the lows of consolidation. And pretty much what these, I mean, Netflix is going to dictate whether we see a higher open on these tech names or a lower open, in my opinion. So keep that in mind as well. Hourly consolidation can be triggered by a bearish reaction to Netflix earnings. So that's all I got. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. And we'll see what Netflix does.